Okay, so after testing this out both inside and outside, I can say that this is a very useful light. Initially I was actually impressed with how small this flashlight is. I'll kind of show you here. This is a 17-ounce water bottle for scale. So this is, very small. It's about the size of two of my thumbs put together. But the first thing I notice is that it's extremely lightweight. That's due to this body being a plastic material versus a kind of standard aluminum for some of these flashlights. What's cool about it is the swivel head, makes it so if you want to kind of clip this on the front of your shirt, you can. But what I really like that Wuben decided to do, I commented on a few Wuben flashlights in the past, is that I'm not having a two-way clip. Although they did flip the direction of this clip to now allow you to use this as a headlight, which is really added benefit. It isn't a two-way clip, so that can be improved on. But overall, the UI of this light, it's very simple to use. You can just kind of click and hold the modes. You get this nice display, very, very bright and easy to read. You can go through different modes. You can go to the red or turbo very easily. You can switch over to red if you need to by just holding. And you can cycle through those two modes. And then there's also a cool feature where if the light is off, if you double press but hold, nothing happens. But as soon as you let go of the button, it will enter turbo mode. And so you can click off. And then another cool feature is if you triple tap and hold, while you're holding, this will now enter it to strobe. So as soon as you release this button, it will strobe. So that way you have it on standby. So as soon as you let it go, strobe. So that's a really cool feature. Overall, what I really like about this light is that the red spot is actually a lot brighter than I thought it would be. I wasn't expecting to have such a focused beam out of such a shallow reflector, but they did a really good job of having a good amount of throw, which makes the red light a lot more useful instead of just being this diffused light that doesn't really cover very much. Another thing that I do like is the ability to charge in two different methods, wirelessly and also through the magnetic base. I think that's really nice. Again, very lightweight, really like the display, easy to read, easy to use and understand. There are a few things that I guess you can kind of say are cons, but I would more so say that these are things that can be improved on to add even more value to the light, which is one, the red light output. Now, being a max of only 80 lumens was a bit disappointing, just given off of how capable this light is with the depth of the reflector, but it's still being a good spot. I was kind of disappointed that this also couldn't have been higher, maybe closer to 300 to 400 lumens. If that was the case, this would become one of my favorite lights with a dedicated red light, if that was in a higher option. That way you can, or maybe if you can have 700 lumens in red and in white, that would just make this a great combo 2-in-1 light. Another thing is the ergonomics are a little bit awkward if you have larger hands. My hands are probably XL or L size hands, so the ergonomics are a little awkward. It's a little small at first, but you do get used to it. So take that into consideration if you do have larger hands. This is a micro, very compact light for 2-in-1. And for the white bright light, I would like if maybe it could have been 1,000 lumens. But again, for this size, this is really great for somebody who's just looking for something ultra lightweight, or somebody maybe who's a little bit smaller that just wants something that they can put in their front or back pocket that honestly just looks like a maybe like a small box of matches or something. It's very, very small. Again, there's the water bottle for scale, so this is a very small flashlight. Overall, if I were to kind of rate this in different categories, as far as brightness, on a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this a 4. That's only because I feel that the white and the red could have been a little bit brighter. given that they already have this compact package, and I know that heat may be a reason why they did that. But I really would have liked if this could have been a little bit brighter, because this would be kind of a pocket monster. The second thing is portability. I would give this a 5 out of 5. Just for the two-in-one of this flashlight for something this small, I think is great. So that's a 5 out of 5. For the user interface, I would say it's a 4 out of 5 for someone who is familiar with flashlights. It does take a little bit to get used to, but Wuben does do a good job of putting everything in their manual to kind of show you or tell you how to activate the different modes. And again, with 8 different lighting modes, and that doesn't account for kind of the quick functions to do, how I showed you the press and hold to have things on standby. Those take a little bit more practice to get used to and understand, but once you know they're there, it gets pretty easy to memorize how to operate those functions. As far as design, I have to give this a 5 out of 5. I mean, it's very, very smooth. I will say that the pivot is not as smooth as the Wuben L1, which is one of their dual head pivoting flashlights. And I think that's attributed to the fact that the body are 2 different materials, so you don't have as smooth kind of as a mechanical slip between these, because one is just aluminum to aluminum and this one's aluminum to plastic, so it's a little bit stiffer. But other than that, it's fine. I mean, I don't have any issues with it, and it feels durable. I know people are probably kind of questioning the durability. It's a durable flashlight. It feels durable. This pivot is not an issue. I've dropped it by accident, and no issues. It's a tool, and it's meant to be used, and this is a great light. And jumping to the next category, design, I have to give a 5 out of 5. Again, Wuben really puts a lot of time and effort into the design of the lights, and that shows. They're not necessarily coming out with anything that's, kind of being seen over and over in the market. They're coming out with really new, innovative designs, and it's a risk. It's a big risk to make choices like that, but they're making the choices and they're following through, and they're coming out with really great, cool, designed flashlights, and they're listening to what the users are saying. And Wuben is really just stepping up in their quality with every light that they come out with, and I think this is really cool. One feature that I didn't really discuss much earlier, which is the glow-in-the-dark feature. I think it's really neat that you do have that glow-in-the-dark function. Obviously, you can't see it because the lights are on, but it does have these 2 blue LEDs that are on. If I just go ahead and press this 4 or 5 times, you kind of can't really see it there, but there you go. So you see they kind of came on there. So these blue lights, I chose to have it off for when I'm using the flashlight, because it can be a little disorienting, especially when it's dark out. You kind of have this blue light emitting close to your hand. But these blue lights actually help charge kind of the glow-in-the-dark function a little bit. So if you use this blue light function and you turn the light off, you will notice that it does glow in very low lighting. So I think it's really cool that they have all these options that you can even turn that feature off. But for me, I choose just to have it off, just so you're not kind of having that visible presence of the blue light when you're just trying to focus on what else is going on around you. But overall, for design, I give this a 5 out of 5, just off of compact size and everything. And then that brings to the final category, which is the cost value. For cost value, I would give this a 4 out of 5. The 4 out of 5, I understand that, so it is a little bit pricier for a light this size, but you also have to factor in that the size does not necessarily impact the build quality and also the usability of this light. And also you have to factor in who this is, kind of intended for. And this is intended for somebody who's looking for a very lightweight, dual purpose flashlight. This is great for somebody who's hiking, or again, somebody who's going jogging and just needs a lightweight flashlight that is very compact, very powerful, and has, various different modes. So I would have to say a 4 out of 5. And again, everyone has different price ranges and different budgets, but for me, I would say that this is a 4 out of 5, because I think that this does have its use case, and for those that it is kind of catered to, I think that that's a reasonable price to pay for the amount of engineering and design that is going into something so cool and compact. So overall, I think this is a nice light for those concerned with size and weight. It's a really lightweight, surprisingly bright red spot for such a shallow reflector. And to the two forms of charging, wireless and bottom, and the two lights in one with the additional swivel, make this a really cool micro flashlight that is honestly so lightweight that you could forget it in your pocket. And the final question of would I buy this again? If I was looking for a lightweight, compact flashlight in this size that was under 1,000 lumens, maybe. But if you're just looking kind of for a do everything, no flashlight does it all, but one that has more of a throw and a little bit less of a flood, then I probably would not purchase this again. But if you're somebody looking for a lightweight, hikeable, joggable, kind of throw in your pocket, and again, so lightweight you'll forget about it flashlight, then I highly recommend.